Welcome to the No Budget Indie Filmcast, where we dip into the independent film universe to highlight those little films that you might not have heard about elsewhere. Will you agree with our panel, or will our panel agree with each other? Tune in to find out. I am Milo Dennison, and with me, as always, is Claire Milan
Hello.
and Cathal Feeney.
Hello, and my hand is gone there.
All right, Cathal, what are we watching this week?
What were you watching? What we're watching is
Or watched. What did we watch this week? I should say it that way. I probably do say watching all
What
the
did we
time. Don't I?
watch?
Yeah. What did we watch
What
this
did
week?
we watch? We watched it in the past,
Mm-mm.
and now we're talking about it in the present to be posted to our No Budget channel in the future. All the tense is covered in this show. So the film we watched is called Facing It by Sam Gainsborough. It's an animation, and it is, I don't know what kind of an animation you describe it as, really. It kind of have a sort of a stop motion-y type feel about it. But essentially what you have is this character, the main character, and he is haunted by this inner voice, this critical inner voice, this inner monologue, which we all have. And for the most part, our inner voice remains inner to us. Sometimes our expressions give ourselves away, but most of the time, our thoughts are our own. But in this case, we can see it written on his face because his face is animated. We see like these kind of constant sort of worry lines. Every now and then his hand will come around and cover his mouth, and so it signifies this kind of turmoil he has, this emotional kind of stuntedness, and it's a sort of an overbearing shyness. So whenever he tries to come out of his shell or speak to somebody, his mouth is sort of covered, so he doesn't see anything. And at some point in the film, there's a flashback to his childhood and with his parents, and you can see that they're kind of like, emotionally underdeveloped as well, and maybe he kind of inherited that, and he carries this sort of trauma from his childhood. And I guess it's the sort of the underlying messages about like bottling up your feelings and not being able to work through them and express yourself. But like the real sort of key to this film is the way the animation of his face shows his inner turmoil.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, of course, have social anxiety, but it's something that we internalize and, sit there and just kind of mentally go crazy about and stuff like that. So this is interesting in the fact that it externalizes that, and it even has, somebody comes and talks to him and his mouth is just not working and he's, trying, but just can't do it. So it is interesting. The claymation, I think, is so well done as well. I mean, the amount of time they must have spent on this, because it's not just your standard, stop motion claymation movements. They're having like the sweaty kind of thing going down the face where the clay is melting and all these. Everything. There's just constantly stuff happening and moving, and the amount of time that they must have put in to make this film is pretty amazing. And to kind of show like causes of anxiety and the way people deal with it, it's kind of a nice little message and stuff that they have in there.
Yeah, it really is. And you rarely see films about social anxiety, and it's something so many people experience. And I think this really portrays it very well. And I love the fact it was kind of like animation mixed in with kind of real life. I think they were real life people with kind of gloves on or something. But I thought it was fascinating the inner turmoil shown on the face, and how he tries to speak and he's like the hands and the mouth melts and he melts, and then the flashback into the parents and he wants to join the little children and play. And it's fascinating, and he's fighting with himself, and it's probably one of the best films slash animations I've seen, yeah, about this social anxiety. and how people feel in these situations. And it was just done so well.
Yeah.
I kind of got that feeling as well, that it was some real people, especially the scene at the end where he kind of clasps his mother's hand. It looked like a real hand. Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, so did they just paint a hand blue here and put that in? Is that what they're doing? So that was kind of
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
I think it's
And then the
like
way
how
he
we
moved.
wear gloves or something, or some sort of thin material, and then that's their real bodies, but and the face is animated. I think that's what they did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
got that feeling that they did sort of superimpose kind of
Yeah.
face on the actual people. I'm not sure how they did that. I should point out, by the way, that it has won an award. Motion Picture Sound Editors USA, uh, Supervision Sound Editor, Sound Designer, Sound Effects Editor, Dialogue Editor, Foley Award, Foley Artist, and was
Oh
also
yeah.
nominated for the Grand Jury Award in South by Southwest. There you go.
Cool. You can definitely see they hear the Foley in this. Like the post-production is really amazing. But even the sounds were done so well. So you can see why they won that award.
Yeah, because there's no actual dialogue happening here. It's just kind of like that whoop, 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 whoop thing or whatever it is that they're doing to get
Yeah,
the dialogue across, which is interesting way of doing it. And the fact that they're able to tell the story without the
Yeah,
dialogue so well is pretty nice.
absolutely. I think that kind of sucks you into his world more. If you had normal dialogue, it's kind of distorted and you feel a bit nearly uneasy watching this because
yeah,
of the sound effects as well.
Yeah.
yeah. A film without dialogue is is it's universal, it's a sort of a universal language. Like this social anxiety that we all, it traverses boundaries. And also, from the point of view of like international recognition, you don't need to put subtitles on it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
wasn't the one we watched about the Syrian boy recently, we reviewed
Fox.
recently,
Yeah,
that was without dialogue. That's the way to go, people. No
I think it
dialogue.
is.
Just no
Yeah.
dialogue. That way you don't have
Just
to worry about it.
That's isn't it, is it 90, no, what percentage of is body language communication? What did they say? Is it 80% or 90% or
Something like
something?
that. Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like your body language is most of the communication, not what we say. Yeah.
Mm.
It's true. I find that like when I go to Germany with my wife, because I don't speak German, but I often will kind of sometimes pick up on what's the conversation about just by trying to focus on the body language and tone in the voice and that kind of stuff as well. So it is
Yeah.
interesting.
I got the feeling as well from the relationship between the parents, that the father was sort of the dominant figure here, that the mother, she sort of self-censored herself
Yeah.
too. And
You see that in the flashback with I think with someone's she cuts off her ear
On the
and
beach or
yeah,
something,
yeah, on the beach,
or
is
the
it?
barbecue.
And then the barbecue, he cuts out his tongue and fries
yeah,
his tongue. I think the son.
like
So it's just
to avoid confrontation.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
that's
we've
it.
all
It's
been there.
confrontation avoidance. Mhm.
Yeah,
Like I'm not a confrontational person, I don't think. But the way like sometimes you want to say something and you're like, ah.
yeah. You do internalize it, and then it builds up all these sort of
Yeah.
anxieties, and then you need to let it out, scream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the way they aged them as well, because they have the flashback when they're at the beach where everybody's young and then they're older and stuff. So you can still tell it's them, yeah, with the hair and stuff and the size, but like also just the way they changed the look of the faces, especially of the parents and stuff, which was kind of a nice little touch with the aging, considering that it's all done with clay.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm afraid to say I didn't even notice that, but I can kind of see, just on my background, I can see some of the
Yeah,
green
you can
there.
kind of see it on yours. Yeah,
Yeah,
with the gray hair.
yeah, and the scrunched up faces,
Mhm.
very
Yeah,
realistic.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was interesting.
yeah,
Did you notice too, like in the very last bit, how the like if you look at all the other people in the bar and stuff as he goes up to the counter, like some of them had like the mouth around and stuff like that. What?
yeah. Definitely,
Yeah.
I did notice. Something I actually meant to mention too. Yeah, so he wasn't the only one.
Yeah, I wonder if it was like an event of like some social meetup group or something like that, and it's like, hey, let's all meet new people, and then you get the people that show up and they're like, so I'm reading a lot into it, by the way, I'm sure none of this had anything to do with the film, but like, and then they're like the shy people that go to the event because they want to socialize more, but then they're too shy, so they just kind of hang off to the side or whatever. That's my
Yeah, I
theory.
suppose you could get that interpretation that he sort of knew these people. It could be some sort of a work do, because this guy can then start talking to him. I mean, that wouldn't really happen in a normal situation. Uh, and then he went up to the couple at the bar, like, and he was at shots they were sharing. So yeah, you could make that draw that conclusion.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going with.
Okay, so will we rate it?
Let's do it. All right, Claire, you want to go first? Do you want me to go?
Yeah, so for me, I thought it's a really good. It shows like social anxiety and how it manifests itself. It's probably one of the best films I've seen about that. And the animation, the Foley, I thought it was terrific. And I'm going to give it 4.5 stars.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. It was really well done. I don't know if it's going to necessarily stick with me too much, but the animation was great. The message, the way that they put it through, and yeah, it's deserving of the awards that it got. So I'm going to go 4 stars.
Yep. Very brilliantly made. Nice idea, well executed. Don't really have anything negative to say about it. And I will give it 4 stars.
There we go, folks. So nice, highly rated animated short here. You can find it on Vimeo. It is called Facing It. We recommend it, and give it some thought next time you see that socially awkward person in the corner. And with that, we will say, see you next time, and goodbye.
Bye.